Hello, I am going to be summarizing this book, Active Parenting, which is one of the most influential books that changed my life. This book changed my life and made me into a good parent. It made me from a parent who just copied what my parents did, like yelling at my kids when they didn't do what I wanted, and made me into a good parent. This book, I'm very, very grateful for this book. It's a short book. You can tell I'm very moved by how it transformed me. And the work in this book, this active parenting course is taught at churches, school districts, online, I believe. It comes with like a video course, and it's really based on a lot of the work of Alfred Adler and Rudolf Dreikurs. And when I read the book, I got interested in them, so I had bought this book, Encouraging Children to Learn by Rudolf Dreikurs. And then this book, The Challenge of Marriage. These guys, he was a front behavioral psychologist, which is really the idea that you change people's behavior through your actions. This book was that I have here. I took the class in the mid-90s. I lost the book in a fire in 2003, but I purchased it again a few years ago when I had my little grandson, just as a reference book to refresh myself. So I'm going to be making several videos, one for each chapter like I usually do, and then I will put them into a playlist, my first playlist on YouTube. The reason I'm so passionate about parenting is because I was lost. I didn't know how to be a good parent. Well, my parents loved me, but my dad would try to tell us we had to respect him because we had to. Children were to be seen and not heard, using a little bit of control, autocratic, dictator type of parenting. And my mom, when she got really frustrated, she would just yell at us, but she was kind of like a people pleaser, codependent type, and she would just yell at us, and I was floundering. I didn't know what to do when I felt overwhelmed by what my, at the time, young daughter was doing. Fortunately, when my second child was just a year or two old, I came across this at Unity Church. They were teaching the course, and it changed everything. So I want to share this with you as my work with people, as a life coach, and also having taken courses on couples therapy and reading about trauma and people's mental health issues. I am convinced that all of people's problems, whether you're an incel, you have panic attacks, depression, anxiety, it comes from poor parenting. Everything that we need in our world to have transform humanity comes from teaching parents these skills. This course should be required and offered to every parent. It will transform humanity. Okay, so let's begin. Why am I so excited about this book? Okay, you can't raise children as a dictator, and you can't raise children as a doormat. I'll get into that in a second. The purpose of this book is to develop children who have character and to have the following skills. And Alfred Adler mentioned courage as the most important skill that people could have, because if a child has courage, he can keep doing things where he might fail. With too little courage, the child gives up easily or does not try at all. With courage, you can be like, try again and try again. The second quality is self-esteem. A child who perceives himself as a winner has courage to tackle life's problems through positive behavior. The third quality a child needs to thrive is responsibility. You have to make decisions and accept responsibility for the consequences of those decisions. The fourth quality is cooperation. A child has to learn that life is neither dependent nor independent, but an interdependent experience, and the relationship between parent and child should be one of cooperation rather than conflict. Cooperation, like respect, cannot be demanded, it must be won. And fifth is respect. It's the cornerstone of life in a democratic society. So the five important qualities for character are courage, self-esteem, responsibility, cooperation, and respect. Now, let's talk about common parenting styles. I think a lot of us who were raised in the 50s or 60s, parents were often very autocratic, the dictator. You have to do what I say. The parent is a dominating figure who rewards and punishes to enforce his orders. There is little room or no room for them to question, challenge, or disagree. Children who grow up in autocratic families seldom thrive. They either have their spirits broken and give up, or more often, they rebel. Usually when they're a teenager and they have the power to fight back. And thus we have the false concept that teenagers always rebel. No, they only rebel if they were raised by a controlling parent, the dictator. The dictator understands that children need limits, but he goes too far. So here are some examples if you were raised by a dictator or you are a dictator parent. You say things like, because I'm the parent and I said so. As long as you live under my roof, you'll obey my rules. When you are the parent, you can decide what to do. And when you do things like tell your teen what to wear, find yourself angry and yelling often ground or punish your teen in other ways. But don't worry, because this book will help you. So you won't do that anymore. The second parenting style is the permissive style, the doormat. These parents are often reacting strongly against the dictator style. They allow their children to do their own thing much of the time. In these households, there is little respect for order and routine. These parents behave like doormats, allowing their children to walk all over them. One of the main drawbacks of this style is the feeling of insecurity, which plagues children reared this way. They have almost no sense of belonging, and because they have not learned to cooperate, they're often difficult to live with. Children with permissive parents are often pampered and accustomed to getting their own way. When someone outside the family finally tells them that rules apply to them also, these children or teens frequently rebel. It is difficult to get a child who is used to a lifestyle with no limits to voluntarily begin obeying rules. Now, how do you know that you were raised this way or that you are this way, a permissive parent? When you say things like, I don't think that's a good idea, but well, okay, if you really want to. Do you really need this? Oh, all right, here's the money. I sure wish you'd help her out around here. And when you do things like, allow her to go to bed whenever she feels like it, routinely do his homework with him, or go to school to intervene for him often, give in to her unreasonable demands because you're afraid she will become angry or sad. Now, the style that this book teaches, the third style, is the authoritative style, the active parent. This is a middle ground between the autocratic and permissive styles, but so much more. In an active household, freedom is an ideal, but so are the rights of others and the responsibilities of all. The parent is the leader who encourages cooperation and stimulates learning. There is order and routine, and every person is an important member of the family. It's kind of a democratic approach, and it does not mean you will always get your way. It means you will always get your say. One of the key concepts is freedom with limits and freedom with responsibility. So when the child is little, it has little freedom and little responsibility. But as the child gets older, both freedom and responsibility grow. So a 10-year-old has more freedom and more responsibility than the 5-year-old sibling. Freedom and responsibility go hand in hand. It's very important. Now, let's give you some examples of the active style of parenting. This is ideally how you were treated as a child or how you are as a parent. Here are some examples. You say things like, "I know you're disappointed, but you can't go. Here's why." "Sure, we can talk about it. What's your idea?" I know you can handle it, but if you need some help, just let me know." And when you do things like involve your child in deciding who will do which family chores, give her the full responsibility for her homework, monitoring her just a little. Show an active interest in her education by discussing her subjects with her regularly and attending school functions. Involve her in the discipline process by talking with her about your expectations and the consequences for breaking agreements. So you don't blindside your child. You respect them. Letting him know what you like about him and encouraging him often. Talking with him about topics such as drug use, sexuality, and violence in a calm and non-judgmental manner. Now, let's talk about choice. One of the single most powerful forces in existence is that of human choice, and choice is power. Now, the parent is the leader, and the child is the learner. So the parent is the leader. The parent has a different role than the child in the family structure. Everyone has respect, but we have different roles. So the parent is the leader, and the child is the learner. So as the leader of your family, you as the parent can give your child choices that are appropriate for his age and level of responsibility. Again, freedom within expanding limits. The freedom to choose is tremendously empowering to children. And because you exercise your authority to limit what choices the child is allowed to make, family rules and values are not sacrificed. Don't boss. Give a choice. So, for example, you have a 3-year-old. He can't wear the spaghetti stained t-shirt, but he could wear the blue shirt or the white shirt. Okay, like say you're okay with the blue shirt or the white shirt. So you say, would you like to wear the blue shirt or the white shirt? And the child feels empowered, like he has a choice. And he feels valued and he feels seen, and he starts to develop, I'm adding on to this now, mentally, the structure of I matter, people care what I think, I get practice in making choices, I get practice in thinking what I like. I'm a valued member of this family. So I'm going to give you, I think I'll just put this up here. And feel free to take a screenshot of this. Oops. I'll just read a couple. Say you have a 4 to 7-year-old, you might say, would you like orange juice or grape juice this morning? Would you like to take your bath now or after one more song? Would you like to pick out a book for bedtime story time, or would you like me to choose a book for you? So that's for a 4 to 7-year-old. Now your child is 8 to 12, they have greater freedom to make bigger choices. Would you like to help me do the grocery shopping and help choose what we buy? Would you rather go visit grandma on Saturday or Sunday? Which chores would you like to do? But again, don't make everything a choice. Sometimes you just have to make the choice, and children kind of like that. Let's talk about respect. When we show our children respect, even when we are angry or providing discipline, we help them learn to respect themselves while demonstrating how to treat others respectfully. What does it mean to show a child respect? It means not yelling, cursing, calling them names, being sarcastic, or otherwise speaking to them in ways you would not want them speaking to you. However, there are other more subtle forms of disrespect. Doing something for a child that he can do for himself is disrespectful. For example, an overprotective parent who's quick to jump in to solve a child's problem without giving her a chance to struggle to find a solution for herself is being disrespectful. As is a parent who always insists on doing what he wants and never compromising to do what the child wants. When we catch ourselves treating our child disrespectfully, it is wise to smile, apologize, and if appropriate, make amends. For example, you would say, I'm sorry I yelled at you. That wasn't very respectful. Let me try again more calmly to tell you why I was angry. Teaching our children to show respect to others begins with insisting on their showing us respect. So the parent who has been careful to show her child respect all along is on solid ground when it comes to correcting the child's disrespectful behavior. And small children will be disrespectful. They'll yell at you, they'll hit you, they're just lashing out or behaving or testing boundaries. So if you're respectful to your child, you also have to teach your child to be respectful to you. It's very important. So, for example, you could say, I don't talk to you that way. Please do not talk to me that way. Or, I don't talk to you that way, and I will not allow you to talk to me that way. Or, I want the two of you to stop right now. We don't talk to each other that way in our family. Now, but later on, we're going to learn that children won't always listen to that, and then we use what's called consequences, or the method of choice. So here are some examples of that. Either talk to me without yelling or go to your room. Either share the remote without fighting or there will be no TV at all. Finally, the respect with which we treat our spouses, significant others, and even strangers sets an example for our children, and they're always watching. Now, another thing I really love about this book is it's not just teaching people skills. They encourage healthy family interaction, so each chapter has a family enrichment activity. And chapter 1 is called Taking Time for Fun. Take time to do something fun with your child. It can be as brief as a few minutes or as long as a day. Every day, a little play. For example, and these are like bonding activities, because a relationship should be fun with your children. So, throw a ball or shoot baskets. Bake a special dessert together. Play a game together. Roughhouse. Tell a joke or funny story. Go on an outing, just the two of you. So to get the most out of this activity, find activities you both enjoy. They can be free. Ask for suggestions from your child, but have some of your own. Keep it fun. Do not use this time for confrontation. And then they have a picture of a dad with his boys. And a really fun part that we started doing in our family with my ex-husband and our children was what they taught in this book is family meetings. And our kids love the family meetings. In fact, to this day, when they have a problem in their relationship, they'll call a family meeting. And they're super fun. One of the children gets to be the secretary, and you start out with giving each other compliments, and afterward you do a fun activity. Like, it's super fun. We didn't do them regularly, but for a couple years we kind of did them regularly. So in the first family meeting is about choosing a family activity. And in the family meeting, you have rules, like we will treat each other respectfully, we will listen while someone else is speaking, we will not insult or put anybody down, and it's not a time for confrontation. It's an enjoyable time that allows children to have their voices heard and their wishes considered. Like if the kids had something they wanted to discuss, they would write it on the list for the family meeting, and then everybody can talk about, a problem that they have, in the family that they want to discuss. And finally, in chapter 1 are a whole lot of ideas about taking care of the caregiver, because parenting requires a lot of us. If you can imagine, it's a constant emptying out of what is inside. It's a constant giving. It is a giving activity. It requires so much patience, and it really helps if you have enough sleep, if you've taken care of yourself, if you have a healthy body, healthy diet, and enough sleep. So you take time away from your children to care for yourself and other relationships. Clear your mind, take some time for yourself, get organized, keep a family calendar of everyone's activities, organize your home, decide what you want to do about romance, and that ends chapter 1. I decided I'm not going to rush through these chapters. These videos may be long. They're really important, and these videos are me sharing what I learned and what I have to say about parenting. It's going to require, it's not a 5-minute video, but it's so rich, and you will get, in the following chapters, you will get some actual tips that will help you in specific situations. When your children aren't listening, when you're frustrated, how to talk to your children, how to build cooperation, how to have a child that has courage, responsibility, that loves learning, being part of something. So I look forward to sharing these other chapters with you, and that will be forthcoming. I guess I could end with showing you the list of chapters in this book. Chapter 2 is about winning cooperation, then responsibility and discipline, then understanding and redirecting misbehavior, and then we have a chapter on how to build courage, character, and self-esteem. A lot of the problems that men have, they're afraid to talk to women, or they can't express their feelings, or they're anxious or socially avoidant. It all comes from not having developed these skills, but you can still develop these skills as an adult. And I think that hearing what an ideal parent gave you and seeing what you didn't get is an opportunity for you to fill those kind of voids and give that to yourself, because you may go like, I'm socially anxious, I don't know why. Well, you heard me talk about a parent that encourages you, and you may go, oh my God, I was never encouraged. What I like to do for myself is close my eyes and imagine a situation where I was little, or maybe with one of my parents, and they did something with me or for me or modeled something that I didn't get, and allow those feelings and experiences to seep in. Like, I didn't see my parents be affectionate with each other. So I imagine seeing my parents being affectionate with each other, hugging each other, holding hands, and then allow that feeling to seep through me. Because otherwise, I've never seen it, so I don't know what I'm missing. If you never had your parent give you a choice or encourage you, then imagine being a little boy, having your parent give you choices between this shirt or that shirt, and notice how it feels to be empowered by your parent and to feel that love and respect of being given that choice and that autonomy, and let that seep through you. And I believe that does change people. It does. I feel like this internal feeling and shift, and it's a practice I invite you to try as well. This will wake you up to what you didn't get and what you can give yourself as an adult, because that's that's how we heal as adults. We can give ourselves what we didn't get, but so often we don't know what we didn't get. And a lot of people struggle because they get triggered and emotionally dysregulated. And if you grew up in a home where you were not supported in that, or your parent was too, ideally your parent is calm enough to calm you down and help you contain, and you learn how to tolerate distress, emotional distress. And that's an important skill that we need as adults. So you can give yourself that. So thank you for watching my video.